I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star, then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
May 1st, 2023 at 12:29 a.m. Las Vegas 911 dispatchers receive an unusual call from a family in distress.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
They describe an intruder, but one unlike anything they have ever seen before. Check this out.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're shiny eyes and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
The caller was 16-year-old Angel Gomez. He and his family waited in their living room for the police to arrive. Later, he claimed that as they waited, they could hear loud whispering out back, as well as heavy footsteps in the yard and on the roof. At last, the officers arrived. Their body cam footage captured the following interview.
What did you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard? Or
they see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
In cases like this, law enforcement is often skeptical of witnesses. One can only imagine how cynical officers must be in Las Vegas, a jurisdiction where both locals and tourists alike overindulge in recreational substances and come up with all sorts of wild tales. It's a party town, and being called out to a report of an alien in someone's backyard is bound to be met with skepticism. However, folks, the officers responding to the call early on May 1st, 2023 were a little more open to the possibility. That was because one of them saw something peculiar earlier that evening, before midnight on April 30th. What's more, another officer even caught it on their body cam footage. Around 11:50 p.m., about 40 minutes before Angel Gomez would call 911, officers from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department spotted something large, luminous, and bluish-green descending to the earth. In the body cam footage, the object can be clearly seen on an angled path toward the ground. Both the officer and the individual he is speaking with react to the light pointing in its general direction. In another clip, one of the LVMPD officers who responded to the Gomez residence can be heard saying, "I'm so nervous right now. I have butterflies, bro. I saw a shooting star and now these people say there's aliens in their backyard." When the pair of policemen arrived on the scene at the Gomez property, one continued to patrol the neighborhood, asking others in the area if they'd seen anything unusual.
no, like if you see any little, well, not little in this case.
The other remained with the family to interview them. Upon meeting the Gomez's and hearing their story, the responding officer said, "I'm not going to BS you guys."
One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious.
He then asked, "Did you see anything land in your backyard?" Angel's father chimed in saying, "They see like a big," that's what they say, "they see like a big something with light." The officers then went into the backyard to investigate. To their surprise, they found what appeared to be a perfect circle drawn in the gravel. Discovering nothing else out of place, however, the officers left, but not before offering a bit of humorous advice. They said, "If those 9-foot beings come back,
don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that."
After the police departed their property, the family returned to the house and began praying together. Now, according to Angel, their prayers were accompanied by a loud, human-like scream in the backyard. Since then, things seem to have remained quiet, with one odd exception. Journalist and ex-police officer Doug Papa interviewed the Gomez family shortly after their sighting. While Doug isn't himself a UFO believer, he nonetheless found the family to be trustworthy and their testimony credible. He also found that some neighbors had reported odd noises that same night, including a loud thud. This bang was also captured on a doorbell camera. When Doug followed up with the Gomez's for a second interview, he noticed something out of place. All around the backyard were video surveillance cameras, high-end models, in fact. He asked the family why they had installed them, and they told Doug that they had not. Now, according to Doug, the mother told me the police came out there and put up the cameras, supposedly to protect the family from people coming out to bother them about the UFO. But ladies and gentlemen, Doug was not satisfied with this answer. It seemed a little above and beyond the call of duty for local law enforcement. He said, "But I could tell you right now, cops don't come out and put up expensive video equipment up like that, and they certainly wouldn't for someone calling in a report about a UFO." By June 19th, these cameras had been removed. But that isn't the only strange thing that happened in the aftermath of the Gomez family sighting. Men with suits and sunglasses seen driving a vehicle with government license plates were spotted cruising around the neighborhood for days afterward. The Gomez's also said that a second set of detectives visited their residence to question them, followed by another 2 police officers. However, the official stance of the LVMPD is that no one from their office had even been dispatched since the early morning of May 1st, 2023, when they closed the event as unfounded. Now, between the installation of cameras and this second visit from mystery investigators, the implication seems to be that the sighting reported by the Gomez family has attracted the attention of authorities higher up the chain of command. Perhaps government officials hoping to monitor the UFO enigma and guard its close secrets. So, what do we make of the events that took place around midnight between April 30th and May 1st? It's a great story, the kind that we don't see too often nowadays. While multiple witness sightings of humanoids were common worldwide in the 1970s, these sorts of tales have occurred less and less often in the modern UFO era. Now, as soon as details surrounding the sighting came in national attention in early summer of 2023, it sent shockwaves through the ufological community. Could this be a legitimate sighting? On June 8th, 2023, Angel Gomez posted a video on YouTube describing the family's sighting in more detail.
I'm here to tell you what happened to me on May 1st, 2023.
His story conforms to what he shared with 911 dispatchers and law enforcement, but adds some fascinating new information. Angel said that he and his brother were fixing a truck in their family's backyard around midnight. The 2 of them heard an odd sound, and turning around, Angel saw a big light falling from the sky. Moments after, I felt a big impact and a bang, sort of like a big impact fall. Angel said that he and his brother looked at each other. At this point, they were primarily frightened by the noise, which they compared to a shockwave. However, Angel said his vision blurred and he noticed the sounds of thousands of footsteps around him. This disorientation passed within a few moments and his vision cleared. It was then that he noticed an intruder in his backyard. Angel said this: "When that happened, the only thing I could see in the backyard is a tall creature, probably around 8 or 10 feet tall, very thin. So I called my dad. He went to the backyard and he saw the same thing, the same creature I saw. He told me to go inside the house. Me and my brother went to go pick up my tools. Then my brother calls me and he told me shakingly, 'Look behind the forklift.' So I look, keep in mind I'm facing the forklift, and then I see the alien. It was a tall, skinny, lengthy creature. He was a gray-greenish color, and when I looked at it in the eyes, my body just froze, like the same experience as having sleep paralysis. Keep in mind, I'm staring at him, and I look at his whole body, and he has weird-looking feet and a big face and eyes, and you could see a big mouth. and I could hear this loud, deep breathing, and I could see his stomach moving. He would just stare at me. Seconds later, I could start moving again. Once he was free of his momentary paralysis, Angel rushed into the house where he placed the phone call to 911. The rest plays out as already described. So, let's look at the details and try to sort out what we can to prove from what remains speculative. Firstly, there was something that fell to the earth that night. The officer's body camera footage from April 30th proves that, and is supported by testimony from both civilians and law enforcement. Officially, this was indeed an extraterrestrial object, if not in the way we want it to mean. According to the American Meteor Society, the light in the sky was an especially bright meteor, likely less than around 3 feet wide. University of Nevada, Las Vegas astrophysicist Jason Steffen agreed, while adding the usual casual dismissal so often seen among skeptics. He said this: "I doubt it was aliens. That's probably not what's going on. People see all sorts of things in their yards." The American Meteor Society received more than 20 reports of the supposed meteor on the morning of May 1st, 2023. They flooded in from hundreds of miles away, as far east as Vernal, Utah, and as far west as Cantil, California, and as far south as Lake Havasu City in Arizona. According to experts, since it has not been recovered, odds are that the meteor either disintegrated or, more likely, vanished into the ocean. So it seems at least possible that the glowing object seen in the body cam footage was a meteor. If it was, then how do we reconcile that with the reaction from the Gomez family? Did they simply see the meteor and decide to use that moment to fabricate a hoax? Former Vegas police officer Randy Sutton suspects that if there is a mundane explanation, a hoax by the Gomez family should be ruled out. He told Inside Edition this: "The officers treated this as if it was a factual incident, which they actually should do. I thought the response was excellent. You could tell from the video I saw that these people were frightened. I know from my sources that they did not detect any deception at all. From the body language, I saw that whatever they saw was real to them." Could the Gomez family have simply mistaken some of their equipment for a massive alien and gotten spooked? Well, this seems unlikely. Add to this the bizarre details of the cameras and the follow-up investigations, and it seems like we might have a legitimate sightings on our hands. Now, that doesn't mean that all the information surrounding the Gomez sighting is accurate. Some have pointed out that the crop circle-like depression noted after the sighting actually appears in Google Earth images of the property as early as December 20th, 2022. This, in and of itself, doesn't necessarily indicate deception on the family's part, though. It could also mean that they simply hadn't noticed it, that there was an earlier visitation on the property, or that the images have been altered to hide the truth. You gotta take your pick on this one. Just because the Gomez family seems genuine doesn't mean that others aren't above hoaxing. After the story went nationwide, the Twitter account CBK News released a tweet reading, "Watch, actual alien footage from the Las Vegas landing. On duty area, Las Vegas police captured clear day footage of the flying UFO aircraft on their patrol car minutes before. The same officers also responded to scene where this gentleman recorded this footage." The grainy black and white clip shows what appeared to be a misproportioned, hairless humanoid crouching near a fence before turning its thick neck to look over its shoulder. While at first impressive, there are numerous issues with the footage. First and foremost, neither law enforcement nor the Gomez family claims to have recorded this footage. Second, the setting simply doesn't look like Las Vegas, nor does it match the family's property very well. Finally, and most damning, the footage actually first appeared on the TikTok visual effects account Owl Tree Stump, and was never originally connected to the events of April 30th to May 1st, 2023. In short, what appears to be a video of an alien is, well, nothing more than a well-crafted 3D animation using the software program Blender. Although many might be disappointed that the footage is not real, it should serve as a lesson to ufologists everywhere. As visual effects and artificial intelligence get more and more sophisticated, healthy skepticism will only become more and more necessary, especially when footage appears too good to be true. Instead, researchers should keep their attention focused on first-hand eyewitness accounts. These have continued pouring in steadily from Las Vegas in the months following the Gomez family incident. Now, on June 22nd, 2023, 2 beams of light appeared above the city, remaining visible for at least 20 minutes. The sighting was captured on video by witnesses on the ground and shared widely on social media. According to reports, the lights first appeared around 10:30 p.m. before disappearing by some time later. While they were visible, the lights resembled 2 interlocking white circular beams of light in the sky. But that isn't all, folks. In fact, the events of spring and summer 2023 are just the latest in a string of recent UFO sightings. Just 3 nights before the Gomez family alien story unfolded, newsrooms in Las Vegas were inundated with reports of strange lights in the sky above town.
What is that thing?
Area 51.
While similar sightings in the past have been explained away as aviation training or parachute flares connected to nearby military installations like Creech Air Force Base or Nellis Air Force Base, what people saw on April 27, 2023 was not so easily dismissed. One observer named Bill actually caught images of the unexplained aerial phenomena seen that night, which he shared with Las Vegas news station KLAS. Bill explained that he was enjoying the night air in his backyard when he noticed something odd hovering somewhere above downtown and the Las Vegas Strip. Bill immediately started recording what he saw. He remained convinced that it was something out of the ordinary. Bill told Duncan Phoenix with KLAS, "I've seen tourist helicopters flying around the Strip before, but this was so much bigger and brighter. At the end there, it looks like a plane might be coming into land at the Harry Reid International Airport. It was weird. The lights hung out for about 5 minutes or so, and then they were gone." You don't have to look back much further to find another compelling sighting. On December 23rd, 2022, footage captured above Las Vegas's Sammy Davis Jr. Drive seemed to show a set of bright lights lingering in the clouds above the Sapphire Gentlemen's Club.
Never seen anything like this.
It's an interesting video because, at first, your eyes are drawn to these spotlights that the establishment is using for promotion. But as you watch, it becomes apparent that something else is just hovering above the club, entirely motionless. A series of red, yellow, and white smudges across the sky. Again, KLAS's Duncan Phoenix was on the case and corroborated these sightings with several other sources. Not only are there other eyewitnesses present in the video, but KLAS confirmed that a worker at a marijuana business nearby also noticed the lights in the sky. They apparently remained in place for over an hour before just blinking out of sight. As for what the footage shows, its authenticity lies in the eye of the beholder. Some folks simply think that the lights from the Las Vegas Strip were reflecting off the low clouds that had settled above the town that evening. A little more believable is the explanation offered by meteorologists from the National Weather Service, who suggest that the lights were actually a rare atmospheric phenomenon known as light pillars. You see, light pillars occur when thin, hexagonal pieces of ice drift through the air. When they travel this way, they move almost completely horizontally and allow light from below to reflect back down to Earth. Think of it as millions of tiny mirrors, shining any light they capture back down to its observers. It's an interesting possibility. But when taken in conjunction with how often UFOs are seen in the skies above and around Las Vegas, it seems reasonable to withhold judgment. And it's important to remember that many sightings are never reported and never get any serious treatment in the press. For every one UFO sighting that we know about, there could easily be 24 more that are never shared with the public, only ever discussed among family and friends, or never at all. Even before these more recent sightings, Nevada has enjoyed a long-standing association with the UFO phenomenon. The state is home to the ultra-secret, infamous military installation known as Area 51, which has been the source of countless rumors involving reverse engineering crashed flying saucers and even the study of alleged extraterrestrial specimens. Many people employed there, which sits about 80 miles northwest of town, live in Las Vegas, commuting to work aboard Janet Airlines from Harry Reid International Airport. Among the many secrets allegedly held there is debris from New Mexico's famed Roswell incident of 1947, where we all know a UFO is said to have crashed to Earth. However, stories over the decades point to a number of crash retrievals winding up at the installation, and some might have even come from much closer, from Las Vegas itself. On April 18, 1962, military radar stations as far east as Oneida, New York, began reporting something strange in the sky, heading across the continental United States. These were accompanied by civilian reports of something resembling a silent, flaming sword, or a luminous red sphere darting westward across the sky. Witnesses shared stories from Colorado, Kansas, and Arizona. There was even a report that the object made landfall for a very short time in Eureka, Utah, where it interrupted electrical equipment before taking back off into the sky. Eventually, the sightings and radar returns prompted officials at Arizona's Luke Air Force Base to scramble their fighters. The object was then tracked all the way to Nevada. Observers on the ground in Reno confirmed that the UFO had abruptly changed its trajectory, heading in the direction of Las Vegas. The object's flight came to an end somewhere in the vicinity of Nellis Air Force Base, where it disappeared both from radar screens and the human eye after rumbling, booming like a crash of thunder, and exploding in a flash of light. On the ground, however, the story was just beginning. Law enforcement was so inundated with calls from eyewitnesses that they gathered a search party to look for the crash site in Clark County, Nevada. Nothing was found, nor did any local airports report any aircraft missing that night. As with the Gomez case over 60 years later, the incident was merely written off as just a meteor. However, unlike most recent sightings, the events of April 1962 received little coverage in the press, with the exception of one headline: "Brilliant red explosion flares in Las Vegas sky." The entire affair was overlooked by ufologists until researcher Kevin Randall picked up the thread decades later. After scouring recently declassified government documents and reports, including excerpts from the Air Force's infamous Project Blue Book, Randall presented new information in his 1995 book, A History of UFO Crashes. Kevin learned that when coupled with eyewitness testimony, these documents told a much more interesting story. For example, an airman flying a C-119, a Captain Herman Gordon Shields, claimed that he and his co-pilot had both seen something odd in the sky above Levan, Utah. While it started as a light, bright as daylight, the object eventually drew close enough for them to make out an underlying shape. Captain Shields stated this: "This object which I saw was illuminated. It had a long, slender appearance comparable to a cigarette in size. That is, the diameter with respect to the length of the object. The forepart, or the lower part of the object, was very bright, intense white, such as a magnesium fire. The second half, the aft section, was a clearly distinguishable yellowish color. I would say the object was just about divided in half, the forepart being intensely white, the aft section having a more yellow color to it. There was no exhaust, no trail following after it. It was clearly defined. I saw it for a period of maybe 1 or 2 seconds. Both witnesses agreed that a meteor could not explain what they had seen." Kevin Randall also unveiled the testimony of civilian witnesses Floyd Evans and Bob Robinson, who claimed to have seen the object that night around Eureka, about 30 miles northwest of Captain Shields' sighting. They got a good look at the object after it hovered about their car, causing its engine to stall. Floyd and Bob described the craft as a fiery cylinder with a row of windows along the side. Like other witnesses, they disagreed with the assessment that the object was a meteor. Even if it had appeared like one, it did not follow a straight path and instead turned, slowed, and adjusted course, which meteors cannot do unless they're being piloted by someone or something. Accounts of these maneuvers even came from personnel near Hill Air Force Base who were interviewed by investigator Douglas Crouch. Douglas also was able to rule out atmospheric phenomena, military tests, and any other aircraft in the vicinity that could satisfactorily explain the sightings. Files from Project Blue Book suggested that the object was nothing more than a bolide, a rare form of bright meteor, and that the object landed in the Wasatch National Forest, where no attempts to recover it ever took place. However, Kevin Randall pointed out a peculiarity in the official's report. The object's designation, which began as unidentified, was later relabeled insufficient data for a scientific analysis. Not exactly what one would suspect if authorities genuinely believed the bolide explanation. What's more, the documents claim that no visual evidence accompanied the radar returns, which, as we've addressed, was simply not true. There was also inconsistencies with the dating of the incident, as if altered to throw investigators off the scent of something much more exotic than a simple meteor. In fact, even this conclusion was rejected in the official paperwork, with alternate explanations ranging from a U-2 spy plane to a weather balloon. It seems like a simple enough task for the Air Force to conclude whether or not a U-2 was to blame. They tracked all their movements, after all. In short, everything added up, or rather failed to add up, to what Kevin Randall suspected was yet another UFO crash cover-up. He determined a high likelihood that, at the very least, something unconventional crashed outside of Las Vegas, Nevada on April 18, 1962. When placed in the context of everything else, Area 51, the long history of UFO sightings near Las Vegas, we have to ask ourselves, did history repeat itself more than 6 decades later? What did the Gomez family see early on the morning of May 1st, 2023? What was captured falling from the sky in the body cam footage from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department officers? A meteor or something much more exotic? Now, because you've made it this far into the video, I want you to comment down below, they're coming for us all, so I know who made it to the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed today's episode and aren't subscribed yet, really? What are you waiting for? Hit that like and subscribe button and join the Cool Kids Club. As always, I love you all, keep an open mind, and I'll catch you crazy cats in the next video.